I can start with this one. I think the biggest thing here is consistency with the training. So when I look back on seasons I had that were really good, I was really, really consistent with like the workouts, the intensity and the hours, like everything. There weren't like these big periods of up and down. Like I felt like when I looked back, everything there was this, it was just constantly like everything was kind of I was always training and I was always putting in the work. And I think there was a lot of like repetition in the workouts. Like we were doing like similar intervals and things like that, like week by week. But I felt like I was always putting in that work. And so I think that's something that stands out to me.
Yeah, it wasn't overly complicated.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't complex. Like I wasn't trying to change things all the time. I wasn't like, oh, let's try this volume block and then this intensity block. And then like it was just consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think I think the maybe the seasons that I had really good results, I was a little like fearless mm, during the meat of the summer, and kind of with the mindset that as winter got closer, then I could be more cautious with my training. But June, July, August, I was letting myself be intentionally tired. Like it trained hard enough that I had days where intervals were hard to keep up with my teammates. I just wasn't always super fresh. And I think in other years, I always wanted to be fresh, so every workout felt really good. But I think I learned that for me to get the stimulus and actually like grow from my training, I had to be kind of on that edge of what was doable or sustainable, and then just try to be consistently at that point. And then when I thought I was about to break, I would give myself really good rest, which might be like a week of fishing and mountain biking, and like train really hard for those long blocks, and then really let myself rest for 5 days. So,
Yeah, maybe stressing a little bit less about how you feel in the summer than maybe in the fall or like as race season is coming, like putting those feelings aside. Obviously, with like sickness or something that's different, but with just feelings of fatigue and stuff, maybe just being like, well, it's okay to be tired and like pushing through that. And we had a lot of camps on the glacier where I felt like I just went way too big and it was always fine. And I think I learned a lot from it and
because
it
you'd
made me
recover
faster.
after.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're putting, yeah, recovering after. So,
Yeah, I think that's the key to mention, is
yeah,
that
exactly.
following it up with
Yeah,
recovery.
yeah.
Okay, excellent. What would be that one thing that you could trust in the middle of the summer that things are going well?
For myself, it was kind of the combination. Um, like if I had kind of a bounding course that I would do with APU, and it was probably like twice a month that we did it. It was threshold bounding. And if my times were improving throughout the summer doing that, I knew I wasn't training so much that I was getting buried. So it was almost a gauge to make sure I wasn't overtraining or like under resting. But also, if I was getting faster at those bounding workouts and improving my strength in the gym, then I knew I was on a good trajectory, because I figured like I could improve bounding by just getting worse at doing weighted pull ups and worse at double pull. So I was kind of like gauging like my fitness by the bounding, but making sure that the specific strength and double pull intervals and in the gym, I was still upping my weight and weighted pull ups, dips, stuff like that. And that seemed like if those things were all going in the right direction, I knew the season was probably going to go well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like similarly, like not, I guess, we can like choosing the same workout, like interval loop, if that's roller skiing. Like in Anchorage, we had so many of the same routes we would use, like for either bounding intervals or roller ski intervals. And I feel like that's like kind of what I was saying earlier is like there was consistency in the workouts. Like, it wasn't like I was trying a new workout every other week. Like we were doing the same stuff regularly, and you have a really good gauge on how you're doing because you can actually time those intervals. And we had the same, like we would do some time trials in the spring and then again in the fall, and you would always see that improvement. So I think it is really important to have, you know, like whether it's a roller ski workout or a running or bounding workout, like having that and having it come through your summer, you know, at least a few times so you can use that as a gauge, I think is the best way I would
Yeah.
measure it.
And I guess I didn't mention time trials because sometimes there's one time trial that I think I set a PR in June, and then for 2 summers in a row I didn't break that same PR, but I was getting faster in ski racing. And so it was a little bit like, as long as I was within that like range of a decent time, I knew that it was okay because I was so tired from training, usually heading into a time trial. Like I never tapered for a time trial. So that was a little like sometimes maybe for the younger athletes, like if you have a really good time in June and then your time trial in July, you're a little slower. Yeah.